Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to EduTap Learning Solutions. First of all, sorry for the delay. We are 8 to 9 minutes late due to some technical errors. Here, just let me know if I'm audible and the video is clear to you. If the voice is clear and the video is clear, just let me know in the chat section. Yes, Subhashish Datta, hi and welcome back. Yes, all of you who are online, I can see a few of you online. Just send a thumbs up in the chat section if the audio and video both are clear to you. Okay. Oh, all right, Ajay. Okay. So yes, a very warm welcome to EduTap. This is Masterclass on Descriptive Writing for RBI Grade B Phase 2 examination. We hope that your Phase 1 examination was really good despite of how tough the exam was. It's always, relative relative performance that matters when it comes to succeeding in any such examinations. So yes, let me tell you the details. There is this crash course that we have launched. It is going to be a live crash course for RBI Grade B Phase 2 preparation. Exclusively, for all of you aspirants out there who are hoping to crack Phase 1. And, this is going to be a live crash course which will cover all aspects of your preparation. First of all, the feature is there would be live classes, so you can interact with the teachers there and then. You can ask your doubts and you can get them resolved there and then itself. Short notes would be given to you so that the little time that you have with yourself, they that can be used efficiently with the help of these short notes. Also, the most important feature here is mind maps for you to be able to remember more and more information in the form of a pictorial representation. So mind maps help you with that, and in the exam you'll be able to recall what you've read with the help of mind maps a lot. Current affairs would be covered. We update our content every 3 months. So the latest update for RBI Phase 2, all the reports, all the current affairs, all the indices, all the data, updated with that, all these notes would be made available to you. Also, we have test series, and these will be in a simulated environment. So you'll have to type your answers, and the interface that we have available is exactly the same as you would have on your phase 2 examination day. All evaluation of test and remarks would be given, of course. If you feel that all this is not required by you, all these first four things are already done by you, you have adequate knowledge and have adequate notes available with you, what you can do is just skip to this part, that is test series. It is available in a standalone format. So yes, test series would consist of, if you take it as part of package or as standalone method, two tests on ESI, economic and social issues. One of them would be objective, the other one would be descriptive, so that adequate practice can be done for both the parts. Two tests are for finance and management, again objective and descriptive. Then you'll have a separate current affairs test, very important for you. Then you'll have some full-length test and along with their evaluation. Because of how tough the exam was, we are offering a flat 50% on this course, on the live crash course as well, and separately on the test series as well. So definitely check out the link in the description. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're still watching this video, this is the right time to subscribe, because next few days would be all about your RBI Grade B preparation. We are coming up with live videos, live practice sessions on a daily basis. So definitely subscribe and click on the bell icon there. So yes, coming back to the session of descriptive answer writing. First of all, please understand that this is the part where most people feel underconfident. They feel that objective part would be handled easily by them, but not descriptive part, because it's so hard to type, it's so hard to remember so much information. So they just let it go. First of all, be assured that through this session, you can write great answers with the help of our team, with the help of watching these sessions on a daily basis. Let me, on the screen, you have the phase 2 examination format. So ESI would have this objective and descriptive part. You'll have to answer 4 questions in 90 minutes. 6 would be given. Out of that, 4 have to be attempted, and both these parts would hold 50 marks each. Then you have a separate paper for English. Narveer sir has already taken multiple sessions regarding English phase 2 examination on Pressy, RC, and essay separately, so you can check those videos out. Paper 3 would be regarding your finance and management, again, both objective and descriptive, 50 marks each. And the descriptive part, again, will have 90 minutes. So you'll have to attempt 4 questions out of 6. So, that day, if you're sitting for phase 2, it's going to be a long stretch of 5.5 hours, 3.5 hours in the first shift, and then rest of the hours in the after the break. So prepare yourself, prep up yourself for watching these long videos, for studying for long answers, and for typing and attempting your real test. So that's how it's going to be. Let me just share with you the plan that we have for this descriptive answer writing session. First of all, the timings of this session would be 3 p.m. every day, 3 p.m. every day except for holidays, that is Sundays. So our Friday session of July 14, that has been done, and we learned the art of writing good introduction. I hope that session was helpful for you. You got some insights on how to start your answer. And even if you feel that it was, just information and you could not understand it very much, so hold on, because, till July 28th, we'll be covering all aspects of your syllabus. So with the help of questions, with the help of practice questions, you will be able to understand how to attempt your answers. You'll be completely ready by July 28th to attempt your phase 2 examination descriptive part. Now, today is Monday, it's July 17th, so we'll be discussing the art of writing good body. This is going to be very much simpler as compared to the introduction session that we had on Friday, July 14th. So this is going to be a simple one because body part is something we already know of. That is the information that we hold. So a few tips for today's session. Tomorrow on Tuesday, July 18, it would be the last strategy session. We'll learn how to write good conclusions and how your complete answer should look like. If there are any omissions you need to make after writing the answer, we'll learn that as well. After that, since from Wednesday onwards, we'll ascribe our all sessions to your separate subjects. For ESI, economic and social issues, it's going to be very diverse. It's going to contain a lot of topics. A lot of preparation is required. So we have 4 sessions from Wednesday to Saturday, July 19 to 22. And for finance and management, they have been divided into 2 parts. Finance would be taken separately. There are very few questions from finance which have been asked. And whatever questions have been asked or whichever are expected, they'll be discussed in these 2 sessions. You can expect that at least 4 to 5 questions will be taken in each and every session, and you will be framing answers with me live here. All right, so next Monday and Tuesday we'll be discussing finance, and management would continue from Wednesday to Friday, that is July 26 to 28, and on July 28 we'll have the concluding session. So now, themes, I discussed it in the previous lecture as well, that do you even need answer writing? This is something you need to take a note, whether you're watching this video for the first time or you've come back to watching these videos for the second time after the Friday session. We see so many aspirants who are able to get through phase 1 multiple times. RBI gives you 6 attempts to crack this exam. There's so many people who are able to get through the objective part and phase 1 and phase 2, but it's the descriptive part that keeps them hanging for like years and years, and after some time they lose confidence. It's going to be just the descriptive part, how you write answers, that is going to get you selected. If you look at any of the prestigious government job examinations, any of the Group A or Group B services, most of them have a mains paper or a phase 2 paper which has descriptive answer writing, because that helps them to judge you better, to evaluate you better. So definitely you need it. Just stay with me through all these sessions. And even if you're very confident at answer writing, I'm sure you'll get a lot of hints and a lot of tips to make your answers better. Secondly, we'll be learning how to write excellent answers even with average content, because here the presentation matters a lot. And and in every session we'll learn some tricks to fetch high marks, so stay tuned. and live practice to apply what you learned. So you'll not be writing here, you will be typing answers with me. I'll be giving you prompts that write a good introduction for this question or write a good body paragraph or at least some points. And just practice typing wherever you're watching, whether it's your phone, it's your laptop, it's your tablet, wherever you're watching this session. Live practice would be going on, and we will make sure that all the previous year questions, important ones, once we start our ESI part from Wednesday onwards, all the previous year questions will be taken as well, because we've seen that previous year questions, they get repeated in one form or the other. Yes, why do you need it? I think this time this is something very much clear. You need to focus, you need to pay attention to descriptive answer writing. The decisions regarding structure and choice of words, they have to be made well in advance. If a question appears on education, you should be sure that yes, there are 1 to 10 keywords which I have available for education. I need to talk about new education policy. I need to talk about Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, or any such policies that have been launched by the government. There should be some keywords and some points. I call these micro notes. Micro notes for most important topics. They should be prepared with you, and you will be able to understand how to prepare them once you are through these sessions. Once you have these micro notes prepared, you know that what kind of question has to be answered in which way. It will give you a lot of confidence boost, and it will lead to better writing, which will ultimately fetch you good marks and hence your selection. Yes, we started this session on Friday by taking a four-step approach. The first step was finding keywords and qualifying words in the question, and I'm going to test you on these today. Second was recognizing the directive, whether it's a comment question, comment requires a viewpoint, whether it's an explain question where you don't have to take a stand, you just have to give the information to the examiner, where it is a discuss question where you have to explain both sides of the argument. Then we learned how to frame micro questions. Framing micro question means understanding the real question in the paper, understanding the real question through subparts, which we call micro questions. Then, writing a structured answer, that is introduction, body, and conclusion. All of this will be taken one by one. So introduction is something that we focused upon. Let me bring to you the structure. And this is the answer blueprint that we have provided to you. This will be the sample question. You'll have to read it carefully, note the keywords, and make micro questions. Start with focus on topic or the theme, and that will form your introduction. Then in the body paragraph, you'll have the subheading 1, 2, or whatever number of subheadings are available. So this is something that we'll be focusing on today, your body part. Main body will be taken today. And then you have your way ahead or need of the hour that we have in the conclusion. This discussing conclusions will be taken tomorrow. Yes, this is the answer blueprint, rough blueprint that we have provided to you. Also, all the discussion that is going on here, the PDF to this will be available on our Telegram channel right after the session ends. So yes, let's begin writing our answer. The prerequisites for any form of answer writing, first of all, have a positive outlook. Always look at the glass half full. Never ever feel negative, even if you're tired, anxious. Never ever just, throw the examiner with negativity, and have an active mind. Just look at what you're writing, because you'll be thinking and typing at the same time. But how it appears, are there, good spaces in between? Are you able to convey the right meaning? Are you grammatically correct? Have you made any spelling mistakes? That can be possible only with an active mind. For example, this is the passage that you have written. This is the answer that you've written. Just, a quick look. Give a quick look to it and identify the loopholes and correct them there and then. So yes, that will be the prerequisites. Have a very positive outlook. It will keep you motivated for the entire day. And also it will reflect in your answers. The examiner, don't present the examiner with your anxiety that you're having for the examination. Present the examiner with your actual personality. And I'm sure if you are sitting for RBI Grade B examination, you have a very strong personality and a very positive outlook. Just make sure that it comes out on the examination day. So yes. Now these are the questions that we took. There are some doubts coming up. When would the phase 1 results be when would the phase one results be released? Bala, we are not aware of when the phase one results would be released. They can be released anytime, even today itself. So yes, it was an online examination, so it should not take a lot of time. But for the time being, phase one results are released. This is something that you should do on your part, that you should prepare for your exam, prepare for your phase two part of the examination. That's all what we can do. We can just do whatever is there in our hands and look positively towards the future. So yes, soon we'll have the results. We are hopeful, and I hope that all of you watching this session and putting day and night of hard work, all of you get selected. Yes, these are the four questions. If you sat through my session on Friday or also, so these are the four questions that we took on that day. The first question was about MSME sector. How does MSME sector help in achieving inclusive growth? What are the recent steps taken by government to boost the growth of MSME in India? So this was question number one. We framed introduction to for this question. Then the second one is the richest people own most out of the total wealth in India. Discuss the reasons for why income inequality in India continues to rise till today. Again, we created an introduction for this. All right. The third one is examine the need for a uniform civil code in India. Again, an introduction, and the crisis of ethical values in modern times is traced to a narrow perception of the good life discussed. Yeah, as you can see that RBI will in phase two you'll have two types of questions. The one with 600 words, these will be your 15 markers, and the second one would be for 400 words. These will be your 10 markers. Okay. But right now we're just learning the art of answer writing. So we'll not look at the word limit, whatever it is. We'll just see how to present our information today and tomorrow. When we start doing our ESI and finance and management questions, we'll answer questions with their word limit and in the prescribed time. So yes, stay tuned. The introduction part was taken on Friday itself. Today, let's move on to the second part. Yes, introduction, as I told you that day also, it will act as a roadmap for your answers. So never start your answers without an introduction. A good introduction gives the best leaves the best impression on the examiner. Even if you make mistakes in the rest of your answer, a little here and there, so the examiner, since he or she is already impressed, will be motivated to award you good marks. So yes, today is the second lecture for the strategy or descriptive answer writing series, and we have come to discussing the body paragraph part of our answer. As you know, if I have to draw the rough outline, your intro comes first in the answer, body paragraph is the second thing, and the conclusion is the third thing. Now, where do you think most of the points of your answer lie? Where do you think? Where do you think, most of the marks you get from? As that day also we discussed that introduction is just 15 to 20%, not even 15 to 20%. Let's keep it 10 to 15% of your answer. And conclusion also it is going to be 10 to 15%, not more than that or even less than that. But your body paragraph is going to make around 70% of your answer. And if 70% of your answer is coming from body paragraph, then this is something that needs a lot of attention. A lot of attention because first of all, first things first, the examiner is reading almost the same content, one answer after the other. So let's say you are the examiner, you're supposed to check 10 answers on a daily basis. So there is very less difference in information that your fellow competitor whose paper was checked, whose answer was checked before you, and your answer. There would be very less difference in both of these answers. So the examiner, what is he doing? What is he or she doing? He or she is reading exactly or almost the same information, one answer after the other. So if I have to give you that task and I pay you in return of that, check like 20 answers on the same topic in the same language on a daily basis, would you find this job interesting? I don't think most of us would find it interesting. Like with our notes also, I think what most of us do is we read the topic once, we read current affairs once, we go through our subject notes once, and then we never come back to them because it becomes boring. We think that we've already started this topic, we know the concept, and we will be able to remember the facts. It's not a very interesting task to read the same thing one after the other. So, but our examiners have to do it and they have to award us marks. So what we can do is we can make this part of our answer interesting. We can at least stand out from rest of the aspirants if first of all in our knowledge that will come through our understanding of the concepts, how much we are reading, and secondly with the help of our presentation. So yes, the knowledge part is something you have been working for the past year. I am here to tell you how to present that knowledge, so that everything that you have learned, all the important parameters, they get highlighted. So yes, how to write and what to write where. This is something that the body paragraph will be focusing upon. And let's see. So these are some of the key points to remember when it comes to answering your body part or body paragraph part of your answer, which is the major part. You will be awarded marks for your body paragraph, what you write there. So that is the first one is address all micro questions. See, for the questions that we took on Friday also, there are so many questions that are asked with one statement itself. What are MSMEs? How can MSMEs help in inclusive growth? What are the steps taken by Government of India to promote MSMEs? So basically, you will be answering 2 to 3 questions under one question itself. So you need to answer all these micro questions, understand the question properly, frame micro questions, that what is the actual question and how many parts does it have, and answer all these parts. All these parts will contain separate marks. For example, um, the question could be, what is Uniform Civil Code? So, what is Uniform Civil Code? And examine the need for a UCC in India. So, this has 2 parts, right? This question has got 2 parts, and hence marks will be allocated equally to both of these. For example, if this question is for 10 marks, so 5 marks are for what is UCC, and 5 marks would be for examine the need for a UCC in India. So marks will be allocated to all the sub-dimensions. Therefore, it is very important to cover all sub-dimensions to the questions. This shows that you can handle complex tasks by breaking them down into small parts. Secondly, there should be a logical flow in your answer. Make sure that you are, taking the most important points first. Let's say if you're writing 10 points in your answer, the first point should be the most important. Most important means it could something that relates most with the question, that is most with the topic question, and secondly, something that has appeared in the recent context, that will be most important for you. For example, if we talk about effects of globalization on India. Yes, you could start by talking about effects of globalization after 1947, after 1991, but it would be good that if you give a recent example in the starting of the answer itself. So always a recent context and the most relatable, most important points should come first. The peripheral points, which you are not sure that whether you should be writing those points or not, they should come later. To ensure that your ideas are well structured, arrange your ideas logically and chronologically. Cause effect, problem solution, all these answers should be answered logically. Being logically coherent is a good characteristic trait to possess. That will reflect that you are a very sorted person, and not just sorted person. It will reflect that you are able to recognize the important things first and then the lesser important ones. You're able to, sift through both of them. Then insert statistics, examples, and case studies. This is something we talked about in the introduction itself as well. So let's say you're writing 5 points in your body. So just writing a straight away one line which has 7 to 8 words, this will not fetch you marks. But if you have something, let's say you have one sentence and then you talk about an example or a case study, an example of your local surroundings or a case study that has appeared in the newspaper, then you will get very good marks for this point. Otherwise, just writing the headings that women can be empowered in the following 10 ways: employment, education, and things like that. Just giving 10 points or 10 lines, that will not fetch you marks. You'll have to justify it with proofs like data and statistics, examples, and case studies. For example, if you feel that MSMEs can help in inclusive growth because they can empower women, so just writing that line will not be enough. You will have to tell them that MSMEs can actually help self-help groups rise, and that's how they can help in women empowerment. Yes, there are some other points with regards to body of an answer. See, there is a very prevalent question which I'm asked by students, that let's say intro is there. Okay, intro has like 3 to 4 lines or 3 to 5 lines. This is your intro. Now, when you're writing your body part, should you write in paragraphs or you should write in points? Which approach are you people currently taking? Honestly, all the people who are online here, just let me know that which approach you're currently taking for writing your body paragraphs. Are you writing in paragraph format, or do you like the pointer approach better? Yes, I'm waiting for your answer. Yes, Rohit, hello, and a very warm welcome. Okay. Mixed approach because it's written on the screen. Pointers, yes, Nishan takes a pointer, an approach with pointers. Anybody else? Have you developed the structure for the answers that you'll be writing in your phase two? If you've not done so, that's okay. But yes, just let me know. Okay. Megs takes the pointers approach, and all of you other people mixed. Okay, Alicia, yes, mixed. All right. Yes, mixed. Okay, okay, Rohit. All right. See, the fundamental difference between a body paragraph and a pointer approach is body paragraph is hard to read. It is hard to read because nobody wants to write, like take their eyes from one end of the screen to other end of the screen, and then put effort in understanding what you are writing. If I'm taking the pointers approach, what can happen is I will just read the pointers. I'll see where is number one, where is number two, where is number three, four, and five. I'll see if there are some headings. If there are no headings, I'll look for some keywords. That, and with the help of that, I'll be able to understand that yes, you have answered the question very well. If you're somebody, so this pointers approach, writing in pointers, it is very clear and it has the tendency to fetch you more marks. It always has the tendency to fetch you more marks. But here is a catch to it. Here's a catch, or here is a loophole with the pointers approach. First of all, let's say a topic has been asked for which you do not have adequate knowledge. You just know like 1 or 2 points. Then what will you do? Will you write 2 points in your answer for 600 words? Obviously, you cannot do that. So what can be done is that instead of taking the pointer approach, you write 2 paragraphs and use some examples with that. So at least you have some chance that 600 words answer for 15 marks. At least with this approach, you're not leaving the screen empty, leaving the answer screen empty. So there it can save you. The paragraph approach can save you when you feel that there is less knowledge with you, less content available with you for a particular topic. Secondly, when it comes to ethics portion of your management syllabus or even your management theories with regards to behavior. So there are many questions which cannot be answered in point format. You will have to take the body paragraph approach because there will be just one theme you will be talking about in the entire answer for 400 words. So there it is not possible to take the pointers approach. So what we suggest is that either you take the mixed approach. For example, if some theory is there, if some theory has 5 traits to it, at least write those 5 points separately. Okay, rest of the answer can be in body paragraph. Now, when I talk about body paragraph and I tell students that yes, you can take the body paragraph approach if you're not sure about your content. Secondly, if you feel that the answer needs a lot of flow and you will not be able to break it down into points, what students do is they write 50 words, then they switch the paragraph, then they go to next 50 words, then they switch another paragraph, then other 50 words, And these 50 words, all these paragraphs, they have no correlation to each other. The student, the aspirant keeps writing without thinking. You know, make it very clear that if you're taking this body paragraph approach, if you're not the one who's writing in points, who's comfortable with writing in points, then each and every body paragraph of yours, it needs to have an objective. For example, the causes can be written in body paragraph 1, solutions in body paragraph 2, and way ahead in body paragraph 3. Or if your it is an ethics question and there are three examples you're putting. So your example 1 needs to be in paragraph 1, example 2 in paragraph 2, and example 3 in paragraph 3. If these examples are taking at least 50 words of yours. Or if there are different interpretations of a theory, then interpretation 1 in body paragraph 1, interpretation 2 in the second paragraph, and interpretation 3 in the third paragraph. So do not think that writing in paragraphs will save you from writing with logic. There has to be logic in your answer. There has to be logic in each and every line that you're writing, and there has to be an objective to each and every paragraph. Otherwise, the examiner will understand that you're just trying to beat around the bush, and he or she will perceive that this beating around the bush is because you do not have adequate knowledge. While the problem could be with your presentation. You could have adequate knowledge, but you might not be good at presenting your answers. So that could be your problem, but do not let it reflect there. Okay, learn the presentation skills. We'll also, we'll practice both ways. We'll practice with the mixed approach. We'll practice writing our body in pointers. We'll also practice some questions in paragraph approach, and we'll also see what questions have to be answered in the by taking the paragraph approach itself. All right. So I hope that is clear. Any doubts that you have here, all of you? Let me just remove the annotations here. Yes. So yes. Any doubts that you have, all of you? Before we move on to the next part? Yes, meditation. Hello and welcome back. Kshitiz, we do not have an answer to that question. All right. Any doubts coming in? Anything that you want to ask? Now, the second part is that highlight or bold your most important points. I'm sure that you do not get the option of highlighting your answers in your, online examination. If you get the option of bold, do bold your answer, do bold the important points there. But most important points, what you can do is give a heading to your point and then answer it. That can be done. Then arrange ideas in the order of importance. This is something we've already read, that all the important points should come first. Recent data from economic survey, recent data from the budget. These should be your first points. And the soft points, which can be, soft points as in for an economy answer, something related with society or the long run solution. That could be your fifth or sixth point or the last point. The first point, they should have lot of data and and the highest relevance with your answer. Now again, we are coming back to the tips. Break down your body paragraphs into small parts. Break down the body part into your small parts. Use pointers or use multiple paragraphs. No paragraph should be more than 50 words long. 50 words long, if your paragraph is going, then the examiner will for sure not read them. And have separate parts for each micro question. Let's say if you have three micro questions, then you will have subheading 1, subheading 2, and subheading 3. Yes, Sagar, for sure. There should be coherence and cohesion. There should be logical, short, and concise or to the point sentences. Use linking words, nevertheless, however, and all that stuff. Linking words, they actually reflect that you're thinking a lot. First sentence should always declare the intent of your body paragraph or body part. The examiner should not have to go to the second or third line to be able to understand what you're trying to say. So make sure that whatever you want to say is very much clear in a concise format in the first line itself, in all parts of your body. Second sentence, it should be strengthening the argument using some examples, data, etc. And multiple body paragraphs, you can, if you're writing a lot of body paragraphs, use the words firstly, secondly, thirdly, for one, in addition to this, however, etc., etc. So that can be done. So yes, that's all till here. Now we'll be starting with our question part. That just give me a minute. Yes. So the first question that we have is, I'm very sure you're very comfortable with this question now. How does MSME sector help in achieving inclusive growth? What are the recent steps taken by government to boost the growth of MSMEs in India? So, as I told you, while this is the introduction that we studied about on Friday, we wrote an introduction to MSME sector. Now, just quickly tell me the micro questions for this question. What are the micro questions here? In the chat section, just quickly let me know what are the micro questions. How does MSME sector help in achieving inclusive growth? What are the recent steps taken by government to boost the growth of MSMEs in India? Just give me micro questions to this question that has appeared on the screen in a very simple format, so that anybody who is like, a very in a very layman language, just let me know. Yes, meditation will come back to the actual content. Yes, Prasad. And give me micro questions in the order in which they appear on the sheet. So, what is the first micro question? Yes, Rohit Kumar. Inclusive growth and steps to be taken by government. So, do I have to talk about inclusive growth here? So, give me the first micro question, all of you. Yes. Boost in MSME. Yes. How to achieve inclusive growth? That is what Prasad is saying. Anybody else? What is the first question here or first micro question here? This is the introduction we wrote on Friday. Now, the following are the ways in which MSMEs can help in achieving inclusive growth. The question is, are there on the screen. How does MSME sector help in achieving inclusive growth? Basically, role of MSME. Yes, role of MSME in inclusive growth or in achieving inclusive growth. That is your first micro question. Clear or not? And the second question would start from here. What are the recent steps taken by government to boost the growth of MSMEs in India? I think this is very much clear that initiatives taken by government for MSME sector. So these two questions you will have to answer separately. These two questions have to be answered separately. So your body part will have two parts to it. This will be your subheading 1 and this will be your subheading 2. In the subheading 1, we'll be writing about role of MSMEs in inclusive growth. So as you can see, this is the linkage point. This is the last line of our introduction, that the following are the ways in which MSMEs can help in achieving inclusive growth. Now, yes. Now let's write our body paragraph. Let's write our body paragraph and we'll be addressing the subheading 1, that is this part of the question. How does MSME sector help in achieving inclusive growth? Now just in the chat section, let me know what content you know about. How does MSME sector help in achieving inclusive growth? Just send me good 4 to 5 points or any number of points that you think fit, and we'll be writing an answer with the help of the points that you share today. Yes, that's the question. How does MSME sector help in achieving inclusive growth? So what do you think the role of MSME sector is? First of all, it reaches where big corporates or big companies cannot reach. MSME, it can start in one room of a house as well, in a village as well. So in rural areas, it can provide jobs. In rural areas, people can become entrepreneurs. in rural areas or in many other areas, it can generate employment for women. There's so many women who make, papads or candles on it, or in their houses itself, or they do so many kinds of embroidery. So what does that help them with? It helps them with financial independence. It helps them bringing more money to the family, and being able to support their families. Yes, small entrepreneurs. Less capital is required. Even if you have one room available, you can start a MSME. Plus, do you think stability of jobs it is provided in bigger cities or through MSMEs? See, let's say you have a relative who started a small candle making industry. If somebody has a relative who started a small candle making industry, and all the people in the village are employed in that small industry, they all go to his house and make candles on a daily basis. So do you think whenever there is a recession, there is more stability in MSMEs or in big corporates or in big cities? See, since the employment will be in that area only, in that, few households only, they will be sharing social bonds as well. They'll be celebrating festivals together. They will be knowing each other. Probably they'll be related by blood. So more job security will be there. And if that MSME, that industry is making more money, so that money will actually help in raising the salaries of people who are employed there. So there is more job security. There are better salaries and respect. Yes. It can support sustainable development goals like ending poverty and hunger. So here, in the trips to fetch better marks, there is one thing coming. Praveen Poker. Yes, very good, Praveen. First of all, write it wherever you're taking notes for this lecture. Write it down. Just learn all the sustainable development goals before sitting for your exam. All the sustainable development goals are important. If you know the sustainable development goals, let's say 1, 2, 3, ending poverty, hunger, good education, gender equality, you can at least code these sustainable development goals in your answer. That promotion of MSMEs can help us in achieving sustainable development goal 2, or it can help us in removing gender inequality or establishing better equitable industries. So yes, remember, just learn all the sustainable development goals before sitting for phase 2. Now more points are coming up. Small entrepreneur, Prasad says, Meg says penetration of MSMEs in rural areas, very good. Arun Prakash says, okay, let me just go back to, yes, percentage of GDP contributions. Arun Prakash, percentage of GDP contribution you can write in your intro itself. Okay. Prasad says role of MSMEs. Megs, what is MSME? MSMEs, medium and small scale enterprises. So Mehek Kaur again, she says generation of employment, very good, and its work. Sagar said capital required for micro, small, and medium enterprises like turnover. Yes, that is very less. Again, penetration of MSME in rural areas. Um, Rohit Kumar says villages and employment again. Yes, Mehek, that's a very good point. Inclusive development with emphasis on women empowerment. Yes, Praveen has been addressed. Yes, urban-rural divide, as Rohit says, that can be addressed. And, migration from rural areas to urban areas, that can be stopped. See, migration is the last thing any family member wants to do, to be able to, afford a good living. Everybody wants to stay closer to the family, or at least in a comfortable environment, or at least, in comfortable jobs. Everybody wants that in the long run, that I'm talking. Yes, there is a certain age when you want to stay away from your family, but in the long run, everybody wants that, social bond and communal bonds. Everybody wants that. So this urban-rural divide, that gap can be filled with the help of MSMEs. So increasing supply chains. Yes, Rohit, that's right. And with the help of MSMEs, your indigenous arts and crafts and foods, they can be promoted. They can be taken to the global stage. All right. Yes, the first point we have here is employment. What we are doing here is we are giving headings. We are giving headings that if employment is generated, how MSMEs help in employment. First of all, mentioning that MSMEs are usually labor intensive. Your medium and small scale enterprises, they do not rely on artificial intelligence. They do not rely on a lot of machines. So they require a lot of people. For example, embroidery work has to be done, candle making has to be done. Some food product is being made that has got some GI tag, let's say. So these are usually labor intensive. So where are these people employed from? So basically, it has the ability to create more jobs. It is labor intensive, and sometimes the skills required are also very less. Even if some special skills are required, they're easily available in the local area, especially for people belonging to weaker sections of society. So yes, if you're talking about employment, see, employment is generated by big corporates as well, big industries as well. So how is employment generated by MSMEs different from employment generated by big companies? That is something you will be talking about here. All right. Second is rural entrepreneurship. That rural businesses can come up even with a small amount of capital, small amount of money, or a small area available. People can start their own businesses, which gives them independence, financial independence, and respect and authority. There's people in rural areas, they suffer with unemployment, poor infra facilities, which may be solved with the development of rural entrepreneurship in MSME sector. Rural MSMEs can avoid the migration of people from rural to urban areas in search of jobs. So more and more rural entrepreneurs, if they come up, if you have industries, MSMEs established in rural areas itself, so people will not have to migrate in search of jobs from rural areas to urban areas, because there would be some small industry already working there. So they can be directly employed, and hence once they are employed, their standard of living increases, consumption increases. So ultimately what happens is rural development. I know you've got the next point already. You're busy reading that. The third one and the most important one is non-agricultural livelihood. The problem with Indian agriculture is that a lot of people are employed, plus it is dependent on monsoon. And if the crops fail, the entire year for that one family, it is under an emergency situation. So first of all, we are focusing on livestock. Secondly, we are focusing on MSMEs. Like let's say there is a family that depends on a farm, stock from a farm for running their household for the rest of the year. Then they should not be dependent just on the farm. At least two members or one member of the family should be involved in the MSME sector, either employed, self-employed, or he or she should be an entrepreneur. So that ways, more money can come to the family, and in times of such, uncertainties in monsoon or any weather events, any natural calamities, the family does not get back into poverty. So Indian MSME sector, it offers maximum opportunities for both self-employment and wage employment outside the agricultural sector. Wage employment, that means higher wages are there as compared to agriculture, and self-employment opportunities are there, and contributes to constructing an inclusive and sustainable society. Sustainable means that even in times of urgencies or disasters, the families can sustain, hence the societies can sustain. The rural non-farm sector in the form of rural SMEs absorb those released from agriculture but not absorbed in the urban industry. So let's say there was a family who was practicing, a family in which there were 6 members and all of them were involved in agriculture. And now some of the family members, they are not able to practice agriculture, or the agriculture, the farm that they were sowing, they were telling it is not giving them a lot of money because of fall in the value of rupee or any such factors. It is not bringing them a lot of money. So what will these family members do if there are 6 people? Okay, what will these family members do? Probably some of them will stay back, they will look after this farm, and some of them, they will migrate to urban areas. If they migrate to urban areas, what they'll look for? They'll look for jobs. And urban areas, these are expensive. They will look for jobs so that they can, afford their expenses, plus they can send money back home. They need such kind of jobs. Now, your jobs in urban areas, they require skilled labor. Skilled labor who have the ability to talk fluently, who have the ability to, operate MS Office, who have the ability to talk in a foreign language, things like that. Skilled labor is required. So ultimately what happens is these people, when they migrate to urban areas, they're not able to find high paying jobs. In fact, they're not able to afford their own livelihoods as well. So they live in like very poor apartments, very poor areas. So what can be done is, if your some industries are available in the vicinity of this household itself, then obviously all these people who have been released from agriculture, they can be absorbed here. They can be absorbed who have not been absorbed in the urban industry. Now moving on to the next point, female participation, very important here, because females, they cannot commute a lot, especially in rural areas. They cannot commute a lot, and not just rural areas, in urban areas as well. Your jobs, most of the jobs are based in metropolitan cities, and there are very few sectors who offer work from home opportunities. So commuting time is at least anywhere between 30 minutes to 60 minutes in any major cities of our country. So this commuting time, this actually adds to the burden for females, because they have to look after the household as well, and they have to commute, and they have to sit for the jobs for the entire day. So what happens is, these females, these women, they actually choose not to do the jobs, not to go out and bring money, or to do any kind of job. So MSMEs, since they're available everywhere, they can be started from the home itself by the females themselves. So they provide a platform for female participation, especially being informal in nature. Women owned entrepreneurs form 20% of all MSME businesses in the country. That's a very important data. It is the recent data that has come from our recent statistics. So 20% of all MSME businesses in the country, they are owned by women. Compared to that, the big corporates which are owned by women, it is like very, very minimal percentage there. But in MSMEs, 20% of businesses are owned by women. That's a huge number. Then better salaries, as I told you, that these MSMEs, they provide better stability, because most of these jobs require a certain kind of skill. For example, weaving, or candle making, or any kind of food product that is made, and that is available in that particular area only. All right. So the entrepreneur, he cannot afford getting labor from some other state. So these people, they have the stability of jobs, higher pay, because the entrepreneurs who are running MSMEs, they are known to the people. So if they do not pay them well, they will lose that social reputation. And they have they give better benefits to their employees, because community culture is better when it comes to MSMEs than large enterprises and informal firms, especially to unskilled labor force. This enables poor to earn more and save more for their welfare, especially because they are able to have these jobs from their houses itself, and expenses are not a lot in such hinterland areas. So that's why they're able to save more for their welfare. Then inexpensive products. Since these MSMEs, they make inexpensive products, so consumption can be increased. They have a huge potential for consumption and for leading their development. They comprise the majority of firms which have much deeper in market penetration than Foreign firms. Local SMEs are often the principal provider of goods and services in lower and middle income communities. I'm sure you must have seen some dupes of popular packets of chips or soft drinks. So where are these coming from? These are coming from MSMEs. And these tubes, they almost have the same qualities of, what is being imported and provided to you on your plate. So thus they provide affordable products. So a lot of people, they can have access to chips or soft drinks, or any such items like that, because these ones are much more affordable as compared to the ones which are available in big cities. So these are affordable for poor and middle income families, leading to more savings. So in a way, it is better. Subheading, Aditi, whenever you can write a subheading. So the body paragraph one has been done. Whenever you can write a subheading to your answer, go for that. Go for that. That's the best approach. Because the examiner, see, look at this answer now. I'll remove all these headings for you, and let's see how this answer looks like right now. Okay. So yes, this was our question. So this was our question. This is your intro. All right. In the intro, if I look at it, It has some data. I can see that yes, data with regards to jobs, exports, that is there. 5 trillion economy has been mentioned. So if I am an examiner, this intro looks good for me. And you've used the word following, and you have understood the question very well. So now moving on to body paragraph 1, I see one heading is there, that is employment. Yes, I know employment is the right one. Then you have, highlighted some of the keywords here. Then rural entrepreneurship is there. Then non-agricultural livelihood is there. Then other points like female participation, better salaries, inexpensive products are there. So basically, this is a more neater approach. This is a more neater approach. Plus, you'll be able to, communicate better with your examiner. That, let's say, instead of writing these 6 points, we have 6 points here. Instead of writing these 6 points, you could have broken them into, let's say, 15 points. But then there is no linkage in your linkage or lucidity in your answer. Here, what we have is we have subheadings. So, subtopics have been created in the answer itself. So, the examiner understands that yes, this person is very mature. The best way to go out is that before starting to write your answer, think about it. Once you've thought about it, have at least 5 to 6 headings for each of the micro questions and include all your data and information in these 5 to 6 headings itself. All right, so that's the best way to go, but not always you'll be able to have those micro, these subheadings. So definitely you can write separate points as well. So now what was our second micro question? Coming back to it. Yes, Anand, hello. Yes, Jagan, that's a very good answer. Yes, poverty elevation. That is a term that has not been used here, Rohit. Use the term poverty elevation. Yes, export promotion. Prabjot, that's very important here. Prabjot Kaur has brought up a point, export promotion. See, now where can you include export promotion? There are 6 points that we've studied here. Okay, let me go back. The 6 points: employment, rural entrepreneurship, non-agricultural livelihood, female participation, better salaries, and inexpensive products. Now, will you include export promotion as a point number 7, or will you try to include somewhere in female participation, or better salaries, or inexpensive products, or somewhere here, employment, rural entrepreneurship, non-agricultural livelihood? There will you have export promotion as your information point, or will you have it a separate seventh point in your answer? And export promotion, it has to be related with inclusive growth also, because the answer has to focus on how MSMEs help in generating inclusive growth. Yes, Prasad, that is right. That is right. Meditation practice with us. Just stay tuned to the series, and we'll be practicing a lot of questions here every day from 3 to 5 p.m. or separate point. See, if you write export promotion as a separate point, then just justify that how export promotion will help in inclusive growth. Okay. Export promotion, if export promotion is increased, then the amount of money that is available in the hands of these MSMEs, that becomes higher. Okay. Since a lot of products are there, also you can include it in your inexpensive products, that these products can become very competitive in the international market because quality is almost the same. Because these are coming from areas which use pure products, and these have, like, some natural taste to them. Yes, quality of products is almost the same, and so export promotion can be increased since these are cheaper. They can compete on the in the international markets, and hence our rural development or poverty alleviation in rural areas, that can be catered to. Okay, so definitely include these points, and also keep reading the answers by other students who are participating in this discussion, because then you'll be able to understand. You'll not have to remember anything. Only the data will have to be recalled or memorized for your phase 2 examination. But if you see what other people are thinking, that will motivate you to think as well. So that way, all answers will be ready by the time you sit for your phase 2 examination. So let's move on to the second micro question now. Yes, what was the second micro question? Recent steps taken by government to boost the growth of MSMEs in India. So yes, address the second micro question, but always have a linkage point before starting a second part. So that will be your second part of the answer. That will be your body paragraph or body part 2. So here we'll be having subheading 2. So first of all, write a linkage point, have some space. Start from a different paragraph, give some space between the upper paragraph and this part. By paragraph I mean parts. When we come to actual paragraphs, you will know. The government has taken various steps to protect the interest of MSMEs. Viz. VIZ dot. Viz is something, this word can be used when you have to give a list of something. Okay, or you could write 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, comma, 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 like that. So this word can be used for list-based answers. Now, just let me know what are the what steps the government has taken to protect the interest of MSMEs or to promote MSMEs. Yes, namely can be done. Yes, Anand. Yes, I'm waiting for your responses. Yes, Mehak, easy availability of finance. Mudra scheme, Stand Up India scheme, very good. Very good, very good, very good. So see, always start by, since this paper is about a lot about economy. Economy answers, we should always talk about money or budget or finances available. That should be your first point. Always. All right, if you can. Yes, yes, Anand, it can be used as namely. Yes. Mudra scheme, MSME competitive loan scheme. Yes. GEM, government e-marketplace. Yes, GEM portal that can be talked about in the government e-marketplace. MSMEs can, display their products, and also government departments, PSUs, they have been obliged to buy some amount of products from MSMEs. If they have to buy pencils or pens for their offices, I think 25% have to come from MSMEs, if I'm not wrong. Yes. First things first, this is the technical point. Always points related with finances and technical points. The most important points first. The definition of MSME for the longest possible time. Let's say, what was happening. Let's say you start an MSME. Now that MSME, you've grown big in business. So what you want is, you do not want to take your MSME to a higher level, because when you go to a higher level, you have to pay more taxes. MSMEs, they have to pay very less taxes as compared to corporates out there. So these MSMEs, they were happy in staying as medium and small scale enterprises only. So they were not growing beyond a certain point. So what the government did, the government changed the definition of MSMEs. Now they can grow beyond a certain limit to a very high level, and with the same tax benefits as they were getting earlier. So the modification of definition of MSMEs, this has been in use since 2016, and it is very important. Okay, so whenever such questions come up, just include this as a point. For example, the provision of 20,000 crore subordinate debt for stressed MSMEs. This was the first point. Here we are talking about the technical point. So definition has been modified. How it has been modified, you do not need to write here. If you remember, write it down, but not very important, because already we are writing a lot. The provision of rupees 20,000 crore subordinate debt for stretched MSMEs, that is there. 50,000 crore equity infusion through self-reliant India fund. The waiving of global tender requirement for procurement of up to rupees 200 crore. Now that's a lot of data. What do? Either you remember it, either you try to mug it up, or just find out the most comfortable ones here. Comfortable ones, I think the most comfortable one is modification of definition here. And if you can remember anything from here, self-reliant India fund. Remember at least two comfortable data points for every topic, and then include them in your answers. Okay. The second one is Samadhan portal has been set up under MSMED Act to monitor the outstanding dues to the MSME sector. The third one is Atmanirbhar Bharat package. It extended adequate support to their launching of Udyam portal for MSME registration. All the current affairs, all the knowledge that that you studied, all the knowledge that you acquired for your phase one, that is going to come to use here. Basically their registration and all the processes, all the grievance addressal also, it was made paperless zero cost registration portal that is based on self declaration and only requires Aadhaar. So no signature by gazetted officers are required. Self declaration is required. And let's say you have a small scale industry MSME in a rural area, and there is some problem that you're coming across. And then what you'll have to do, you'll have to visit the city. You'll have to visit the city and you'll have to wait outside offices. So that thing has been done away with. All these grievance addresses, and registration of a new MSME, that is done through these online portals. Then you have the Champions single window grievance redressal portal for MSME. It was launched in June 2020, and it also has a chatbot which talks in 11 regional languages. Now the number of regional languages is being increased. Let's say there is somebody who talks in Telugu and does not know English or Hindi, so he does not have to worry about the interface being translated. The interface would be available to him in Telugu itself. Then there is a ramp scheme. I've seen this a lot of times coming up in the chat section. Raising and accelerating MSME performance scheme, ramp, in fiscal year 2023. This was launched and it is supported by World Bank. It aims at strengthening institutions and governance at central and state levels and improving center and state linkages for promotion of MSMEs. And it will be implemented over a period of 5 years. So you can use the scheme in your answers. Then you have emergency credit line guarantee scheme. It was announced in fiscal year 21. Apart from these, there is the Mudra Yojana, there is Stand Up India scheme for helping entrepreneurs from vulnerable sections of society. Small loans or Mudra loans can be given to the MSME sector. These points, they are not appearing on the screen here, but these points are very much important, so add them in your answer. Yes, RAM program has been talked about. Also, debt waivers, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, debt waivers have been given to MSMEs, and the banks also, they have been motivated to give a lot of loans, to extend a lot of loans to MSME sector. Now, yes, that was our first question, a long one. Suraj, I'll answer this in a while. Yes. So this is the second question. Any doubts that you have before we move on to the second question? All right, all right. Also, Suraj, on the screen itself, there is this email ID appearing. You can email us and you can also talk to us at this phone number 8146 207241. By this time, just let us move on to the second question quickly. We have to take 4 questions today and we're just on the second one, so this one has to be really quick. First of all, I'll read out the question and quickly in the chat section, just let me know the micro question. The richest people own most of the total wealth in India. Discuss the reasons for why income inequality in India continues to rise till today. So what are the micro questions? See, Rohit, it depends on the word limit. If a scheme has been asked in isolation, if just a scheme has been asked, they'll be asking you the objectives of that scheme, or what are the components of that scheme, or what efforts have been made by the government in relation to one or the other scheme. So if it is about just one scheme, the whole answer can be there. But if you're talking about just RAM scheme, for example, then just give the keywords. If you remember the budget, or if you remember for how many years it will be active, or what is its objective. If you're writing any scheme, make sure that you are writing its objective. Just do not write down there that RAM scheme is there to promote MSMEs. Just write the exact objective, okay? And if some agency like World Bank is associated, so talk about that. So quickly, guys, write the micro questions in the chat section. Okay, Jackin, I recommend that there was this previous session that happened on Friday regarding the art of writing good introduction. If you go through that section, you will be able to understand what are micro questions. To make things short, micro questions are actually real questions in a basic language, And let's say there are three parts to this question which are hidden in these two sentences. So these three parts, they will form like small questions which you'll have to answer separately. So these will be all your micro questions. Okay. Ashish, this is something we do not have an idea about. Mehak, fewer job opportunities. Okay, this is one of the reasons. Yes. So yes, all of you, what is the micro question here? Income inequality and its effect in India after the pandemic. Low education level. Yes, Mehak. Mehak will come to the reasons. Yes, the first line says, now you know, all of you just stop typing and try to understand the meaning of this question. The richest people own most out of the total wealth in India. Do you see any question here? Is it a question statement? No, this is not a question. Discuss the reasons why income inequality in India continues to rise till today. So obviously there are rich people and there are poor people, and the difference between them is very large. There is a very large difference. So they say the richest people own most out of the total wealth in India. So this is the wealth with rich people. This is the wealth with poor people. This is an image we have created in our mind. Discuss the reasons. You have to discuss the reasons. What are the causes? What are the reasons there for why income inequality in India continues to rise till today? Income inequality is there in India. This is one truth. Second is continues to rise till today. This is a qualifying word here. Qualifying word, that means it gives opinion of examiner. So it is continuing to rise. This income inequality, yes, this is a reality. Plus, they say that rich are becoming more richer and poor are becoming more poorer. Why is income inequality rising? Why rich are becoming richer and poor are becoming poorer? Now, see why this basic question is there. Every second day, there is a new policy launched by government of India or some state or in your local area. There is some new policy coming up. And what these policies aim at? They aim at helping the weaker sections of society. They help in distributing wealth equally. Okay, so the Constitution of India and the policies, our aim of our nation is not to make rich more richer and poor more poorer. Aim of our nation is to help in inclusive growth, to help in equitable growth. So equitability should be there, equity should be there everywhere. But the examiner says the richest people already they own most of the out of the total wealth in India, and income inequality in India continues to rise till today. Till today means even after independence, even after our constitution came into play, even after Britishers left India. First of all, in writing introduction, what we do is we make the question seem important. Question seem important means whatever topic is being discussed in the question. Topic is income inequality. We make it seem important. So what we did was when we wrote our introduction on Friday, we used the reports like World Inequality Database, World Inequality Report, and we said that whenever these reports come up, our attention goes towards income inequality. So these reports, they present a grim picture of inequality in India. Then we World Inequality Report 2022, it was quoted here. And then we used a linkage point that although the reasons for persisting inequality would vary from region to region, one state could be very rich, other state could be very poor. Okay, one state could be very inclusive, other state could be very much, some people could be affluent, other could be very poor. So these reasons, they can be studied under the following heads. So what are the headings that under which these reasons can be studied? Now moving on. What are the reasons for rising income inequality in India? First of all, just remember this is not a question that is talking about why income inequality is there in India. It talks about what are the reasons for rising income inequality. Why income inequality is continuing to rise till today in India. So give me the reasons. What are the reasons there? Low education level. Yes, Mehak, that can be taken. But education is growing, literacy rate is growing, but still income inequality is increasing. Why? Diversification and income opportunities. Opportunities are not available in all the areas. So yes, concentration of resources in few areas. That is right, and concentration of jobs in just a few areas. If you have to have a good paying job, you need to move to metropolitan cities or to urban areas. Yes, that's right, Prasad. Kanchan, gap in financial literacy. That is a very, very, I would say very good point, Kanchan. Well done, Kanchan Prasad. Yes, gap in financial literacy. They talk about that people are not financially literate in India. They do not know how to use their money. For example, there was a person who won a very big competition, a reality show, and he made like 7 crore rupees, I think. And he spent those 7 crore rupees here and there, and he could not make a now he cannot make a living. Even when that person earned 7 crore rupees, he just spent it all here and there. That is because there is a lack of financial literacy in our country. We do not know how to spend our money, how much to save, where to save, whether to invest in stocks, shares, crypto, or do we need to invest somewhere, or do we need to spend exactly whatever we have in our hand. So financial literacy, there it is a problem, and people even now they prefer going to money lenders who charge them like interest rates of even 30, 40, 50%, 100% after a few years. But they do not go to the banks who charge them an interest rate of around 7 to 8%. All right, on loans. So that is a very good point coming there. Okay, Anand. Yes, yes. But some points need to be brought in there. Yes. High informal sector. Yes, high informal sector is there. Lack of upskilling in people. Yes, Prasad, that's right. Skilled labor is not available. So people are not able to take jobs. Asymmetry of knowledge. Yes, Kanchan, that's right. Yes, yes, yes. Your COVID-19 pandemic, it impacted people very badly. Yes, first of all, if we talk about after independence, our 5 year plans they were working, they were socialist inspired. Yes, the rural urban, the rich and poor gap that was coming down. But however, since mid 1980s, deregulation and liberalization policies have benefited the top 1% majorly, but the growth among low and middle income groups has been relatively low and poverty has persisted. So first of all, your LPG reforms or globalization, because India is a developing country and we are very much vulnerable to the shocks of globalization, shocks of international order. Yes. So, all right. Second one is India post 2014. It seems to have got into a phase of even greater reliance on big business and privatization to fix economics, and the result has been to beget even more inequality. Here they are talking about that we have less industries available. We did not witness an industrial revolution, so there are less industries available out there. So what we are doing is the first question was about MSMEs, promotion of small industries. And since we have less industries, our reliance is mostly on the big industries. So because we rely mostly on the big industries, so that's why a lot of jobs are not there. Jobs for semi-skilled people, they are not there. The third one is for a relatively poor country such as India, the most durable and dependable way to reduce inequalities to increase the size of GDP. Trickle down theory, that is what developing countries rely on. That if you increase the size of GDP, probably the money that is available in hands of all the people that will increase. But because of this global financial crisis of 2008, NPAs of banks, and finally, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all the reasons coming in, the value of money that has gone down. The value of money has gone down, and hence, even with the increase in GDP, it has not translated into poorer people becoming richer. All right. The fourth one is increased penetration of technology and industrialization. Technology and industrialization, they're taking a lot of jobs. So skill bias jobs are there, and these we do not have a lot of skilled population. The fifth one is large numbers of the labor force work in sectors with low productivity. For example, agriculture, it provides 53% of jobs while contributing only 17% to GDP. So productivity of people or productivity of sectors where most of the people are employed, that is very less. Again, falling value of rupee against dollar on one hand, and increasing cost of living on the other, because your fuel prices are rising a lot because of the international shocks. And majority of the population is without jobs, between jobs, or into jobs which do not pay adequately for their skills, because there are lack of sufficient employment opportunities. Any other point that you can think of? We've talked about lesser jobs available. We have talked about the policies of government available, that is the globalization shocks that we're getting. We've talked about that there are lesser industries available in India. We have this NPA crisis can be talked about, global financial crisis, and size of GDP that has not translated into more rich people. Yes, poverty cycle. Next, can you explain this a little more, the poverty cycle? Yes, large number of labor workforce in sectors with low productivity. Okay, lack of sufficient employment. Next, can you explain this a lot, poverty cycle? Can you explain this a little more? Okay, by the time she writes, let's move on to our next point. Tax evasion is there, a lot of tax evasion is there. So what you do is, even if you're making a very small amount of money, you honestly pay your taxes. But these big businesses or big businessmen, what they do is, sometimes the richer people, they have methods to evade tax or even to flee off the country. So ultimately, who bears the burden? Who becomes more poorer? It's the common people. Then you have regional and interstate disparities. If you're born in a, let's say, in a metropolitan, then there are higher chances that you will have access to good education and high paying jobs. But on the other hand, if you're born in a state which does not have good quality education available, industrial development is not there, then people tend to enter into that cycle of poverty again from one generation to another. So there are regional and interstate disparities. Yes, Meg, that's the right way. That's the right way. All right. Then finally, do you feel that rigid social institutions like caste and gender inequality, they also force the poor to become more poorer, because there are many people who belong to a certain caste, or who are forced to pursue just some types of occupations. They are not allowed to pursue other types of occupations, and I'm talking especially about rural areas. So do you think that rigid social institutions like caste and gender inequality, they are also the reason that inequality persists in India? Yes, Suraj. Okay. Any other views coming on this 10th point? All right, all right. So here we have examined the need for a uniform civil code in India. This is the second question. See, this is going to be a long one, and it's going to be a very simple one. What we are going to do is, we're taking the fourth question first, because we have just a few minutes left, and the fourth question will be coming from your management part of the syllabus. So this is something I really want to take, because these questions can seem tough to answer. So let's address the fourth question first, and if we have some time left, we'll also have a look at the question number 3. All right. So the question here is, the crisis of ethical values in modern times is traced to a narrow perception of good life. Discuss. So this is something that we discussed. The intro part was discussed. I explained to you that there is some good life that we aspire for. There is this person standing here. She feels that when I reach here, when I crack this exam, or if I have some money, some more money, where will I enter? I will enter here. I will lead a good life. So there is this perception of good life, and good life can mean differently for everybody. It could be cracking an exam for you. For somebody else, it could be building his own house. For a family, it could be bringing to this world a new baby. Or it can have different meanings for everybody. Good life can have different meanings for everybody. So what we started this answer was with, they said that life is as good as one's mindset. This is what we said. We focused on the keyword, that is good life here. All right, and then we related this keyword good life with crisis of ethical values in modern times. So this is opinion of examiner, and this is your keyword. Opinion is also known as qualifying word. Yes, good life is a subjective term. We've made it very clear that good life can have different meanings for everybody, but because of this globalization, the rise in capitalism, good life is taking just one meaning for everybody. And what is that one meaning? Materialistic culture, acquiring more and more wealth. So a life abounding in material comforts and luxuries. This is what is the new meaning of good life. That is narrow perception of good life. All right. Since the resources available, they are limited. Resources are limited, so everybody cannot, have like cars. We cannot have cars for every person out there. We cannot have a separate house for everybody out there. Since resources are limited. Since resources available are limited, this perception of good life has turned basic idea of life into a competition. When you know that, there is just one cake available in the room and there are 50 people to eat, and if you want that cake, what you do is you compete to get to the first place, to get that slice of cake for yourself. So life is turning into a competition because of this narrow perception. Yes, meditation PDF will be provided many times, and this is actually causing the detriment of ethical values, which are justice, honesty, empathy. You can talk about your favorite ethical values there. So now the examiner has asked us to discuss this situation. So I hope the situation is clear to you, that there is this good life for which perception earlier was different for all the human beings. But now there is just one perception, which is materialistic comforts. So now we'll discuss this situation more. What is happening and what can be done. This trend in the modern world has led to good life being equated with achievement of materialistic luxuries. Ends are given more important than means. Now, this is the first point that I've given to you as a hint. You can write this answer in the paragraph approach itself. Take the paragraph approach, talk about some theory, some philosophical perspective in the second paragraph. Our first paragraph was introduction. In the second paragraph, you can talk about it philosophically. Then you can start to give some examples. For example, recently this happened, or recently that happened, or there was this example coming up in the newspaper that how people are not helping each other. So, and just let me know in the chat section, what do you think should be adequate points for the body paragraph for this question? M&M resources are truly unlimited. It's all about your perspective eventually. What does that mean? TM Corp, we do not know when the results will be out, but wishing you good luck. See, this is ESI, ESI and FM part of the syllabus. You cannot say that resources are unlimited. Yes, it's about perspective, but this paper has syllabus which talks about sustainability. So you need to understand that resources for a particular generation, they are limited and they have to be preserved for the next generation as well. All right. So any inputs coming in for, this narrow perception of a good life, crisis of ethical values in modern times? Is traced to a narrow perception of the good life. Any inputs that you want to give from your side? Okay. Yes, Suraj, we'll come to that. Yes, I'm waiting for your inputs. How is there any example that you can give about when you talk about crisis of ethical values in modern times? It can be traced to a narrow perception of good life. Any example that you can relate with this keyword, narrow perception of good life or crisis of ethical values, which you see around yourself, and how these two are interrelated? If you can think of anything that you've read in the newspaper, anything that you've seen in your neighborhood, anything that you see on a global level. All right. So here we are talking about philosophically. First of all, The trend in the modern world, it has led to good life being equated with achievements of materialistic luxuries. I think this is very much clear. Ends are given more importance than means. Secondly is possession of immense wealth, modern luxuries, etc. They are the new signs of good life. The sole aim of life has become attainment of personal success, defined in terms as acquisition of money, power, and prestige. Its guiding slogan is higher the quantity consumption, better the quality of life. So here you are validating the question. Then you have problems for society. They are not given much importance in our daily lives, and ethical values, they are ignored. Corruption, rising, crony capitalism, rising scams, they are coming to limelight a lot. Inequalities, crimes. Inequalities we've seen in the terms of financial inequality also. Crimes are rising. Consumerism, it is causing a lot of diseases out there. So violence and environmental damage, they are rising, which are leading to new forms of problems. And most importantly, intangibles are not valued. What are intangibles? Intangibles are your ethics, your value systems, your bonds with your family, relatives, with the society. So various values like happiness, peace, contentment, mutual respect, etc. They are seen as roadblocks and unnecessary diversions from the high road to material success. Many see good life as one which is risk-free, secure, and luxurious, and not the one which is rich in values. Hence, a narrow way of good life cannot sustain in the long run. So these are the 4 points which can be used to explain this your question, that the crisis of ethical values can be traced down to a narrow perception of good life. So here are the hints that you can take. Now, yes, the rise of individualism, Jacken has answered. The rise of individualism, self-centricity, over-competitiveness, lack of adequate resources, large population contributes to narrow perception of good life. You know, we've seen that what is the narrow perception of good life and what is happening because of this narrow perception. Do you see some effects in real life which have come because of narrow perception of good life? Do you see any deterioration in ethical values around you or in your quality of your own life? Do you see things around yourself? Let me know in the chat section. I'm taking you back to the question here. Okay. Do you feel that if there were more ethical values, your life or life around your in your surroundings could be better in one or the other way? So I'm looking for personal examples here. Okay. Can you talk about the education system? Can you talk about the competitive exams? Can you talk about how helping people were 10 years back or 15 years back, and now they're running after success in their own personal lives? Rising narcissism. Yes, that is also right. That's a very creative point out there, Jackson. Yes, this is the third question that we have. We've answered a lot of questions today, especially the first one. It was a very long one. This third question, the PDF would be available on our channel in some time. But I really want you to think about this. Examine the need for a uniform civil code in India and write about this answer in 400 words. All right. This introduction was given to you in the previous PDF that's available on our Telegram channel. So this is going to form your homework. Examine the need for a uniform civil code in India. All right, and we will discuss it tomorrow when we write our conclusion. We'll discuss this answer completely when we write our conclusion. All right. If you have any doubts, all of you, especially apart from Suraj has a preparation regarding doubts. Just let me know in the chat section. If this answer would be is there on the PDF that is there on our Telegram channel. But before that, write that answer yourself. All right. Any doubts with regards to descriptive answer writing, how we are proceeding further? I know it was an intense class today, discussing a lot of points, waiting for the answers, building up answers. So tomorrow, the final class on conclusions, how to write conclusions in your answer, that will take place, and it will be a very short one. And from Wednesday onwards, we'll take up your subjects one by one. ESI, finance, and management, they will be taken one by one. All right. So if you have any doubts, just let me know in the chat section. Otherwise, we call it a day. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for logging in here for this session. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just click on the subscribe button under this video. Like the video if you want more and more such efforts from our side. And you can contact us at hello@edutap.co.in for any of your queries regarding exams. Just email us here or call us at 8146 207241. All right. Suraj, I would prefer that if you call us, because this would be a long discussion. This is a live session and we're running out of time. Just call us on this number and you can fix an appointment with one of our experts. They will guide you completely for the next 1 year. Is that okay? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jakan. Thank you all of you. Yes. Just note this number and contact us. All right. Logging out all of you. Take care and stay tuned.